Hey, it's so good to see you here. I don't know what brought you to this video or this message today, but I'm glad you showed up because what we're about to talk about could completely shift the way you see yourself and the way he sees you. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever walked into a room, seen someone glance at another woman and thought, what is it about her? Maybe she wasn't the most traditionally beautiful person in the room, and maybe she wasn't even trying to grab attention, but somehow heads turned. People noticed her, and something about her energy made her unforgettable. It's not always about being the loudest or the flashiest. It's not about wearing the tightest dress or saying the perfect thing. What turns a man's head and holds his attention is something deeper. It's in the way she carries herself, the way she feels to be around. It's the little things that hint at something more, something magnetic. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. I'm going to walk you through 5 shades, 5 distinct energies or qualities that instantly turn a man's head. These are the things that light up the room when you walk in, even if you don't say a word. And the best part, you don't have to become someone else to tap into them. These are all sides of you, parts of your personality and presence that you can start accessing today. So whether you're single and ready to draw in a high-value connection, or you're already in a relationship and want to reignite that spark, this conversation is for you. Let's get into it. Let's talk about one of the most magnetic shades a woman can step into, the bold one. Now, when I say bold, I don't mean loud. I don't mean attention seeking. I'm not talking about being the most extroverted person in the room. Boldness isn't about volume. It's about presence. It's about the kind of confidence that speaks even when you haven't said a word. A woman who embodies this shade carries herself with quiet certainty. She walks in like she belongs. Because she knows she does, not because she's better than anyone, but because she's stopped comparing herself to everyone. And let me tell you, that kind of confidence, that turns heads instantly. A bold woman doesn't wait for permission to be herself. She doesn't dilute her opinions to avoid rocking the boat. She's not looking for applause every time she speaks. She simply trusts her voice. And when she enters a space, whether it's a date, a meeting, or a room full of strangers, her energy introduces her before she even opens her mouth. That's what makes her so compelling. Men pick up on it immediately. There's an undeniable pull toward a woman who knows who she is and isn't afraid to show it. Now, here's the interesting part. Boldness isn't about being fearless. It's about being courageous despite the fear. It's about showing up as the fullest version of yourself, even if your voice shakes a little, even if you're still figuring things out. Boldness says, this is me. I know I'm a work in progress, and I still love who I am today. That kind of energy is intoxicating to the right man because it tells him you're not looking for him to validate your worth. You've already claimed it. And here's where it really becomes a game changer in dating. When a woman owns this shade of boldness, she becomes unpredictable in the best way. She might challenge a man on his views, flirt without apology, or walk away from a situation that doesn't meet her standards. And that unpredictability keeps his attention, not because she's playing hard to get, but because she's not afraid to be hard to forget. It's also worth noting that boldness isn't about dominance or control. It's not about outshining others. In fact, a truly bold woman celebrates others. She uplifts. She compliments with sincerity, but she never shrinks herself to make others comfortable. She knows that dimming her light doesn't make anyone shine brighter, and that's what makes her rare. In a world full of filters, highlight reels, and people trying to fit in, a woman who shows up boldly, authentically, and unapologetically, she stands out without even trying. So if you want to turn heads, don't just think about what you're wearing or how you look. Think about what you're owning, your voice, your presence, your truth. Because when a woman is bold enough to show the world who she really is without fear, without apology, she doesn't just turn heads, she changes the entire energy of the room. Now, let's talk about a shade that often gets underestimated, but is wildly powerful when it comes to attraction: the playful tease. This isn't just flirtation for the sake of it. This is a deeper energy, an expression of joy, spontaneity, and confidence that makes you completely magnetic without even trying. Because when a woman taps into her playful side, she brings something rare to the table: emotional lightness. And in a world full of pressure, stress, and overthinking, that lightness is irresistible. The playful tease is not about games, let's be clear on that. It's not about being manipulative or withholding affection. It's about being emotionally agile, knowing how to dance in conversation, how to smile with your eyes, how to challenge him in a way that says, I see you, but I'm not going to make it too easy. And that challenge, that sparkle, that's what makes a man perk up and lean in. You're not just passively reacting, you're inviting him to play. And when you bring that energy, you create chemistry that doesn't rely on physical touch. It lives in the space between your words, your tone, your presence. Playfulness is one of the quickest ways to break the ice, diffuse tension, and create a feeling of safety. A woman who can joke, who can roll with the moment, who doesn't take herself too seriously, she's the woman who men feel good around. Why? Because she brings them back to themselves. She reminds them that dating is supposed to be fun. And when a man feels like himself around you, that's when he becomes addicted to your presence. And here's the magic. Playful doesn't mean immature. It doesn't mean you're not deep or emotionally intelligent. In fact, the most compelling women are the ones who can move between depth and lightness with ease. You can be having a meaningful conversation one moment and then crack a mischievous smile or make a cheeky comment the next. That dynamic keeps the energy alive. It keeps him alive in the moment because you're not just predictable. You're alive. You're full of color. And that unpredictability makes you unforgettable. The playful tease also knows her power. She doesn't need to dominate a conversation. She simply knows how to leave space for mystery. She'll make a witty remark and then hold eye contact just a second longer than expected. She might give him a little nudge, a teasing comment, a laugh that leaves him wondering what you're thinking. She keeps things light, yet intimate. And that balance, that's where desire is born. So don't be afraid to let that side of you out. The one who laughs easily, flirts playfully, and speaks without filtering every word. Because when you allow yourself to enjoy the moment, to be playful, to tease a little, you don't just grab his attention. You make him never want to leave the moment he's in with you. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful and often underrated shades that turn men's heads instantly: the soft feminine glow. This isn't the kind of femininity that gets shouted from the rooftops. It doesn't walk into a room demanding attention. It whispers, it lingers, it's felt, and when a man senses this energy, it stops him in his tracks. The soft feminine glow is about presence. It's the woman who walks in not needing to be seen, and because of that, everyone feels her. She's not trying to prove anything. Her power lies in her stillness, in her grace, in her ability to make space for softness in a world that's constantly telling us to be louder, faster, tougher. When a woman embodies this energy, she becomes a kind of safe haven. And that energy, that's what so many men are subconsciously starving for, especially those who are used to the chaos of modern life and relationships built on ego and competition. Now, this glow isn't about being passive or demure. It's not about being small. In fact, it takes incredible strength to be soft, to be open-hearted in a world that so often rewards walls. A woman with the soft feminine glow knows she doesn't need to armor up to be strong. Her softness is intentional. Her gentleness is a choice. And because of that, her presence feels like oxygen to the right man. You'll notice it in the way she speaks. Her words are thoughtful, not rushed. There's warmth in her tone. Her eyes are expressive. She listens, really listens. And when she does speak, it's with compassion and clarity. She's emotionally intelligent, able to hold space for others without losing herself in the process. She leads with her heart, but doesn't apologize for having standards. She's nurturing but never needy. And that blend of open energy and quiet strength, it draws men in on a level they often don't fully understand. See, this woman doesn't just look good on paper, she feels good to be around. Her energy calms the nervous system. Her authenticity makes others lower their guard. And what's truly beautiful is that she's not trying to seduce anyone. She's simply in tune with herself. She's in love with her life, with the beauty in small moments. And that kind of self-connected woman becomes incredibly attractive because her energy invites intimacy, not just attention. The soft feminine glow is the woman who knows that strength and sensitivity aren't opposites. They're soulmates. And when she lives from that place, she doesn't chase love. Love finds her. Because at the end of the day, what turns a man's head isn't just what he sees across the room. It's what he feels in his heart when he's near her. And the woman who glows from the inside out, who makes him feel peace, presence, and possibility, she's the woman he won't just look at. She's the one he longs to come home to. Now let's turn up the heat and talk about a shade that doesn't just turn a man's head, it captures his soul. I'm talking about the passionate flame. There's something undeniably magnetic about a woman who radiates passion. And I don't just mean sexual energy, though yes, that can be a part of it. I'm talking about a deeper fire, the kind that burns in her eyes when she talks about something she loves, the kind of woman who is lit up from the inside out. Her enthusiasm is contagious. Her excitement is real. She's not waiting for someone else to bring her to life. She's already alive. And that kind of energy, it pulls people in like gravity. You see, a woman who embodies this shade doesn't rely on others to provide the spark. She is the spark. She could be talking about her art, her work, a dream she's building, or even the trip she's planning, and suddenly the room feels warmer. She's electric, not because she's trying to impress, but because she's deeply connected to what moves her. And when a man witnesses that passion, something inside him stirs, because passion is vitality, passion is soul, passion is life. And when a man sees a woman who's connected to a life force, he doesn't just feel attracted, he feels drawn in. He wants to know what she's about. He wants to get closer to that flame. Not to control it, but to feel its warmth. Now here's the beauty of this shade. It's not just attractive, it's deeply inspiring. A passionate woman challenges a man, not by demanding more from him, but by being more of herself. She raises the energy of every room she enters because she's not afraid to be full of feeling, full of color, full of purpose. And that kind of woman makes a man want to level up because she's not living life halfway. She's not just getting by. She's here to feel it all, to create, to contribute, to connect. And when a man meets a woman like that, she doesn't blend in. She becomes unforgettable. Let's be honest. There are plenty of people out there who are beautiful, who are kind, who are nice. But passion is rare. Passion stands out because it's real. It can't be faked. And it shows up in the way you talk, the way you move, the way you care. It's in your curiosity, your opinions, your willingness to go deeper. A woman with that flame doesn't just light up a moment. She ignites the possibility of something greater. So if you want to turn heads in a way that lasts, find your flame. What makes you feel alive? What gets you talking with your hands? What lights up your world when no one's watching? Because when you live from that place, not for him, but for you, you become the kind of woman who doesn't just attract attention. You inspire devotion. And now we arrive at the final shade. One that doesn't just turn a man's head, it makes him stand at attention. Because this woman doesn't ask for respect, she commands it. She is the unapologetic queen. The unapologetic queen is the woman who knows her worth deeply. She doesn't need constant validation. She doesn't play small to make other people comfortable. And she certainly doesn't shrink herself in the presence of a man, no matter how successful, attractive, or charming he may be. Why? Because she's already done the inner work. She's built herself from the inside out. She's fought through self-doubt, insecurities, rejection, and emerged with her crown not handed to her, but earned. She doesn't just carry confidence, she carries self-respect. And that energy, it turns heads without even trying. Now let's be clear, she's not arrogant. She's not guarded. She's not above connection. In fact, her openness makes her even more powerful, but she's not for everyone, and she knows it. She doesn't water herself down to be more digestible. She's kind, yes. Compassionate, yes. But she has boundaries like a fortress. She doesn't tolerate emotional breadcrumbs. She doesn't stay where she's not valued. And when she walks away from something that doesn't serve her, she does it with grace, not drama. What makes this shade so captivating to men, especially high quality, emotionally available men, is that it feels rare. Because the unapologetic queen isn't chasing anyone. She's not in a rush to fill a void. She's in love with her life, with her growth, with her freedom. She's magnetic because she isn't waiting to be chosen. She already chose herself. And when a man encounters that kind of woman, she challenges him, not in a combative way, but in the way that makes him want to be a better man. She won't settle. She won't pretend. She won't laugh at jokes that aren't funny just to be polite. And that honesty, that raw, real presence, is deeply attractive, because in a world where so many people are trying to be liked, the woman who is unapologetically herself, who holds herself like royalty, becomes unforgettable. Not because she fits the mold, but because she broke it and built her own throne. And let me tell you something, every woman has this queen inside her. It's not about status, it's not about money, it's not even about being perfect. It's about owning yourself, your past, your passions, your path. When you embody this energy, you create a vibe that says, I'm not here to chase, I'm here to align. That energy changes the room. It changes conversations. It changes the kind of men who even approach you. Because when you show up as the unapologetic queen, you stop wondering if you're good enough for him and start asking if he's ready to stand beside you. So here's the truth. Every woman has these 5 shades inside her. The bold one, the playful tease, the soft feminine glow, the passionate flame, the unapologetic queen. They're not roles you have to perform. They're not characters you have to pretend to be. They're facets of who you already are. You don't have to become someone else to be magnetic. You simply have to uncover the parts of you that the world may have told you to quiet down. Maybe you've been told you're too much, too strong, too soft, too opinionated, too independent, too emotional. But let me tell you this, the very things you've been told to dim are often the exact things that make you radiant, that make you unforgettable, that make you deeply, soulfully attractive to the kind of man who doesn't just want a woman by his side. He wants a partner, a force, a light he can honor, protect, and grow with. If you want to turn heads, don't chase attention. Don't shrink yourself into something smaller, safer, or more acceptable. Step into your fullness. Lean into your depth. Be bold when it's time to speak your truth. Be playful when it's time to dance with life. Be soft when vulnerability calls you. Be passionate about the things that set your soul on fire, and be unapologetic in your standards, your boundaries, and your dreams. Because when you live in your shades, not the ones someone else picked out for you, you stop waiting to be noticed and you start being remembered. Now, here's your challenge. Tonight, look in the mirror, not just at your reflection, but into your own eyes. And ask yourself, which shade have I been hiding? Which part of me is ready to shine again? And then tomorrow, let her out, even just a little. Whether it's in the way you speak, how you walk, the way you laugh, or the decisions you make. Lead with the part of you that's been patiently waiting to take the spotlight. Because the world doesn't need more women trying to be like everyone else. It needs you. Fully expressed, fully alive, fully in your power. That's what turns heads. And more importantly, that's what opens hearts.